Key elections are happening in multiple states across the U.S. today, and these include in Oklahoma and Alabama, as well as the District of Columbia, which is holding its mayoral primary. There's also a special House election happening in California and multiple primary runoffs in Georgia. In the Peach State's Senate race, Congressman Mike Collins and Derek Dooley are vying to make or become the Republican nominee for U.S. Senate. The winner of today's runoff will take on Democratic incumbent Jon Ossoff come November. And in the contest for Georgia, Governor billionaire healthcare executive Rick Jackson is competing against Georgia Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones. One of them will go head-to-head with Democratic nominee Keisha Lance Bottoms. CBS News political director Fin Gómez joins us live from our D.C. bureau with more on what's key here. And Fin, I know we've been discussing, good morning to you, the president's endorsements being valuable. He made them both in the Senate and the governor's races in Georgia. So who will that help?
Good morning, Errol. Yeah, we've seen throughout this midterm cycle that the president's endorsement holds a lot of sway. And in the governor's runoff, both he and the popular Republican Governor Brian Kemp have endorsed Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones, a strong MAGA ally of the president in that critical race. While the president's own son, Donald Trump Jr., stopped short of an endorsement but praised Rick Jackson, the billionaire who has been self-funding his campaign. Senator Ted Cruz, eyeing a potential 2028 White House bid, has also backed Jackson. But that dynamic, Errol, of Trump and Kemp joining forces in this runoff may be too big of a hurdle to overcome. But in the Senate runoff, we basically have a proxy battle between the president and Governor Kemp. Kemp, who has thrown his support and his formidable state political operation behind Dooley, the former college football coach. And if you remember, Errol, his father was the former football coach, iconic football coach for the University of Georgia, which is a big deal in the Peach State. It helps with his name ID. But with the president's surprise endorsement of Collins on Sunday, again, he's a close ally whom he even calls MAGA Mike. It sets up a political proxy war between the president and Governor Kemp. The matchup reignites the long political tensions between the two. And remember, Kemp is a potential 2028 White House contender as well. The two have been at odds since the 2020 election when Kemp resisted Trump's efforts to intervene in Georgia's presidential election results. And back then in 22, that he also, the president took part of a retribution tour, then handpicked former Senator David Perdue to primary Kemp. But again, Perdue lost badly, 50 points to Kemp in that primary contest. And again, whoever does win this runoff will face the Democratic incumbent Senator Jon Ossoff, who has amassed a whopping $32 million campaign war chest, Errol. And remember, this is a key battleground state that could determine who controls the Senate. That's why it's so important. And Ossoff also being mentioned as a potential 2028 contender as well. So this race just isn't just about 2026. It has layers of 28 as well.
Yeah, that's fascinating, Fin. And I know that there's another contest in Alabama today that will test the president's influence. You've got this race to replace Senator Tommy Tuberville. What's new there?
Yeah, right. It's another test, as you so accurately said, of Trump's endorsement power during this cycle. On the Republican side, it's Congressman Barry Moore, the president's pick, against former Navy SEAL Jared Hudson. Moore topped the primary back in May, but here's what makes today interesting. Some recent polling shows Hudson pulling ahead for the first time, and Alabama has burned the president before. His pick lost a Senate race there back in 2017. Remember Roy Moore, no relation to Barry Moore, by the way, but Trump-backed candidates have rarely lost this cycle. So if Barry Moore loses here, it is significant, Errol.
All right, Fin Gómez in our D.C. bureau with all the latest for us. Fin, thanks.